All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I'm Valsa Williams and with me is Subhadra Ramachandran. The headlines. Union Cabinet approves World Bank supported STARS projects to boost school education system in the country. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 87.05%. Cinema halls, theatres and multiplexes to open today with 50% seating capacity. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari to initiate simultaneous blasting for Zojila Tunnel in Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. Anti-pollution measures under Graded Response Action Plan to come into force in Delhi NCR region. Centre to provide all assistance to rain-battered Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. And in IPL cricket, Royal Challengers Bangalore to take on Kings 11 Punjab in Sharjah this evening. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki doori for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. The Union Cabinet has approved the World Bank supported Strengthening Teaching, Learning and Results for States STARS project. The project seeks to support states in developing, implementing, evaluating and improving interventions with direct linkages to improved education outcomes. Briefing media after the Cabinet meeting, Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar said the total project cost is 5,718 crore rupees with the financial support of World Bank amounting to $500 million.
इसमें 3700 करोड़ रुपए वर्ल्ड बैंक भारत सरकार को देगा। वो भारत सरकार इस कार्यक्रम में लगाई और अभी ये 6 राज्यों में हिमाचल, राजस्थान, मध्य प्रदेश, महाराष्ट्र, केरल और उड़ीसा में ये वर्ल्ड बैंक असिस्टेड प्रोग्राम चलेगा। ऐसा ही एक प्रोग्राम एडीबी के माध्यम से गुजरात, झारखंड, उत्तराखंड, आसाम और तमिलनाडु इन राज्यों के लिए भी चलेगा। ये 5,800 करोड़ का कार्यक्रम है और इस कार्यक्रम से बहुत ही शिक्षा में मूलभूत सुधार का रास्ता प्रशस्त होगा।
Mr. Javadekar said STARS project would be implemented as a new centrally sponsored scheme under Department of School Education and Literacy. He said it will cover 6 states, Himachal Pradesh, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Kerala and Odisha. The minister said this is an important milestone and the beginning of the new education policy.
The Union Cabinet has approved special package of 520 crore rupees for Union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh for a period of 5 years till 2023-2024 under the Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana National Rural Livelihood Mission. Briefing media after the Cabinet meeting, Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar said this will ensure sufficient funds under the mission as per need to the Union territories. He said it is also in line with central government's aims to universalize all centrally sponsored beneficiary-oriented schemes in Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh in a time-bound manner.
देश के ग्रामीण इलाकों में दीनदयाल अंत्योदय राष्ट्रीय आजीविका मिशन ये योजना चलती है। स्व सहायता समूह और उसके द्वारा महिलाओं को आजीविका मिले। जम्मू कश्मीर में और लद्दाख में जो देश का जो तरीका था संख्या चिन्हित करने के लिए, उससे जम्मू कश्मीर में बहुत कम महिलाओं का सहभाग होता था। उसको दूर करके अब ये तय किया है कि कश्मीर में ग्रामीण 2/3 परिवार, ग्रामीण कश्मीर, लद्दाख, जम्मू में बसे 2/3 परिवार इस योजना में शामिल होंगे। इसके लिए दीनदयाल अंत्योदय राष्ट्रीय आजीविका मिशन का फायदा सबको मिले।
Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana National Rural Livelihood Mission is a centrally sponsored program that aims at eliminating rural poverty through promotion of multiple livelihoods for the rural poor households across the country. Road Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari will initiate simultaneous blasting for Zojila Tunnel in Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh today. The tunnel will provide all-weather connectivity between Srinagar Valley and Leh on NH1 and will bring about an all-round economic and socio-cultural integration of Jammu and Kashmir. A report from Leh correspondent.
Union Minister Mr. Nitin Gadkari will virtually launch the ceremonial blast at Zojila Tunnel sites, both on the east portal of Zojila Tunnel at Minamarg on Kargil side in UT Ladakh and the west portal of Nilgrar Tunnel in Gandarbal district of UT Jammu and Kashmir. Tunnel works would begin with simultaneous blast on Thursday morning. After 2 years of foundation stone by the Prime Minister, an expert committee in consultation with all the stakeholders has come out with a workable project by reducing the cost to rupees 4,430 crore by half of the original estimate. Today, for the ceremonial blast, LHDC Kargil CEC Firoz Ahmad Khan and senior officials will witness the program from Kargil side. With Anayat Ali, this is Ramesh Chandra at Zojila in Ladakh.
India has now conducted over 9 crore COVID tests, which is an achievement. In the last 24 hours, more than 11,45,000 tests were conducted, taking the total number of tests to 9,90,000. The Health Ministry has said the country has come a long way from conducting tests from just one lab in January this year. The ministry said the country's COVID-19 recovery rate has now reached 87.05%, with more than 74,000 COVID patients having recovered in the last 24 hours. Over 63 lakh COVID patients have recovered so far. The constantly increasing recoveries have ensured that the actual caseload of the country has reduced and now comprises 11.42% of the total positive cases. Presently, the total number of active cases in the country is 8,26,000. In the last 24 hours, 63,509 new cases have been reported, taking the total number of positive cases in the country so far to over 72 lakh. Cinema halls, theatres and multiplexes in the country are reopening from today with only 50% seating capacity. However, screening of films will not be allowed in containment zones. More from our correspondent.
Cinema halls, theatres and multiplexes are going to resume their operation after a gap of almost 8 months. New rules and restrictions have been set for curbing the transmission of COVID-19 while resuming the operation. Adequate physical distancing of at least 6 feet, use of face masks and respiratory etiquettes have to be strictly followed by visitors and staff. Spitting will be prohibited. Thermal screening is to be carried out at every entry point and only asymptomatic individuals will be allowed to enter the premises. Hand sanitization will be made available at all entry points and work areas. Efforts will be made to avoid overcrowding in the common areas, lobbies and washroom during the intermission. Besides, the cinemas, theatres and multiplexes will be sanitized after the screening. With Anand Kumar, Bhupendra Singh for AIR News, Delhi.
In Uttar Pradesh, ahead of the reopening of cinema halls today, the state government has announced exemption of license fee of multiplexes and cinema halls for a 6-month period, starting from the 1st of April to the 30th of September this year. The decision was taken by Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath to lend support to the battered industry, which has been closed for the last 6 months. However, in Bijnor district, cinema hall owners have decided not to open the cinema halls due to growing cases of COVID patients.
A total of 3,324 new confirmed cases of coronavirus infection were reported in Delhi during the last 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to over 3,17,000. Delhi government said that over 2,89,000 people affected with coronavirus have been cured so far. In the last 24 hours, 2,867 people recovered and 44 deaths were reported in the national capital, taking the toll to 5,898. Presently, the total number of active cases in the national capital is 21,903. Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath, has called people of the state to take a pledge of washing their hands and keeping them clean on Global Hand Washing Day today. He said that washing hands on regular intervals can break the chain of corona. Several programs will be organized in the state on this day. A report.
Functions will be organized all over the state between 10 a.m. to 12 noon, focusing the importance of washing hands to keep corona away. Information Department of the state has asked people to use Haath Dhona Roke Corona hashtag on the occasion of Global Hand Washing Day today. People can tag videos and images of washing their hands using this hashtag on Global Hand Washing Day. Additional Chief Secretary Health Amit Mohan Prasad has appealed to the public to make this event as a public movement and and post videos and images in a group of 10 persons. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath will also launch the hashtag and a campaign on hand washing today. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
In Madhya Pradesh, all the temples of Goddess Durga of the state will remain open during Navratra and devotees will be able to visit the temples comfortably and easily. In view of corona infection, the Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan has appealed to the people of the state to perform puja at home as far as possible and do not assemble in crowds in the temples. A report.
The state government has urged the people to follow all precautions mandatory like wearing masks, maintaining sufficient distance between each other and to sanitize the hands regularly. The government has clearly instructed that no matter how big the temple premises or hall may be, there should not be a gathering of more than 200 people at a time. The temple management committees and temple administration are required to ensure that there should be enough distance between the devotees in the lines to be made for darshans in temples. Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan said that on the occasion of Dussehra, Ram Leela will also be performed. But in view of the corona infection, precautions like keeping sufficient distance between each other and to use of mask will have to be followed mandatorily. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
Gujarat recorded 1,175 new COVID-19 cases during the last 24 hours. The recovery rate has reached 88.04%. More from our correspondent.
The total 1,36,541 patients recovered from COVID-19 till now. 1,414 patients recovered during the last 24 hours. More than 51,65,000 tests have been carried out in the state till date. Maximum 252 new cases reported from Surat, while Ahmedabad recorded 182 new cases. At present, total active cases in the state are 14,959, out of which 79 patients are on ventilator. 11 patients died yesterday, taking the total death due to COVID-19 up to 3,598. Yogesh Pandya, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
Odisha has consistently been witnessing a declining trend in COVID-19 cases. In all, 2,796 patients recovered from the infection yesterday, as against 2,604 new cases. With this, the total recovery has gone up to 2,32,988 as against the cumulative caseload of 2,59,541. More from our correspondent.
With COVID-19 recovery scoring over infection day after day, the active caseload of the state has further dipped to 25,428. With a recovery rate of 91%, the state has emerged as one of the top 5 states performing well on this count. Despite encouraging indicators in COVID-19 management, Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik has cautioned people against confusing the impressive recovery with increasing complacency, particularly in view of the upcoming festive as well as winter season. Girish Chandra Das, Bhubaneswar.
Karnataka conducted a record number of 1,13,771 COVID-19 tests yesterday, thereby taking the total test to 62,50,992. The state registered 9,265 new COVID cases, taking the tally to 7,35,371. We have a report.
The Karnataka government issued a standard operation procedure for the upcoming Dussehra festivals and Deepavali. The new guideline says that more than 100 people will not be allowed to gather and celebrate the festivals. Specific guidelines are issued against large gathering. During Deepavali, the cracker shop will be allowed to open from November 1 to 17. The cracker selling kiosk must have sufficient space for entry and exit. Thermal checking and sanitation will be mandatory. The health, police and the municipal departments have been told to strictly impose the guidelines. Meanwhile, the cinema theatres and the multiplexes will resume its screening from today following stringent safety protocols. R. Murthy, AIR News, Bengaluru.
In Tamil Nadu, the active COVID-19 caseload has dropped further down, well below 43,000 yesterday. In all, 4,462 people, including 1,130 in Chennai, tested positive for the infection in the last 24 hours. The State Health Department bulletin says 5,083 patients recovered from the illness, while 52 others succumbed to it. More from our correspondent.
Of late in Tamil Nadu, it has become an everyday story of a gradual dip in the number of COVID-19 patients under treatment or in home isolation. The recoveries have begun to outnumber the fresh cases. The case mortality also shows a declining trend. However, the number of tests remains at higher level, which really pays. Yesterday alone, over 93,000 people underwent the test and the case positivity rate on the single day has been 4.75%. It is true that the medical experts normally do not look at a single day data, but quite encouragingly, the long period average also shows the much needed reduction in the case positivity and the doubling rates. Jai Singh, AR News, Chennai.
According to WHO data, the number of COVID-infected cases has crossed 37.88 million worldwide. The World Bank had approved $12 billion in financing to help developing countries buy and distribute coronavirus vaccines, tests and treatments. It aims to support vaccination of up to 1 billion people. In another development, restrictions are being ramped up in parts of Europe in response to a rapid rise of COVID-19 infections.
The International Monetary Fund (IMF) has revised its estimate to a somewhat less severe recession than it predicted in June. From a contraction of 5.2%, the latest IMF report revised its prediction, saying global growth is to contract to 4.4% this year. IMF chief economist Geeta Gopinath warned that the ascent out of the COVID-19 pandemic is likely to be long, uneven and highly uncertain.
The main message was that the world economy remains in a deep recession, even though we have a small upgrade. Now, countries have benefited from the reopening and had a partial rebound, but still, to return back to pre-pandemic levels of activity in most countries is going to be a period that's long, it's going to be highly uneven, and also it remains highly uncertain.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Union Cabinet approves World Bank-supported STARS project to boost school education system in the country. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 87.05%. Cinema halls, theatres and multiplexes to open today with 50% seating capacity. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari to initiate simultaneous blasting for Zojila Tunnel in Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. Anti-pollution measures under Graded Response Action Plan to come into force in Delhi NCR region. Centre to provide all assistance to rain-battered Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. And in IPL cricket, Royal challenges Bangalore to take on Kings 11 Punjab in Sharjah this evening. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
3 steps to stay protected and stay safe from COVID-19. Wear face mask, 2 gaz ki duri to maintain social distancing, maintain hand and face hygiene.
Anti-pollution measures under the Graded Response Action Plan (GRAP) will come into force today in the Delhi NCR region. The Delhi government has banned use of electricity generators except those needed for essential or emergency services in the national capital. Delhi Pollution Control Committee (DPCC) has banned the operation of electricity generator sets of all capacities run on diesel, petrol or kerosene in Delhi till further orders, excluding those used for essential or emergency services. The essential services include healthcare facilities, elevators, railway services, Delhi Metro, airports and interstate bus terminals, and the data center run by the National Informatics Center. The DPCC also directed power companies to ensure an uninterrupted power supply to the consumers. In Bihar, the nomination process is gaining momentum for the second phase of state assembly elections in 94 constituencies. It will be the last day for filing of nominations tomorrow. In this phase, several prominent leaders submitted nomination papers yesterday. Sitting MLA and BJP leader Arun Kumar Sinha filed his nomination from Kumharar Assembly seat in Patna. Rebel BJP leader and former member of National Commission for Women NCW Sushma Sahu filed her nomination from Bankipur seat. Shrikant Nirala, who was denied ticket from BJP, filed his nomination as an independent from Maner seat. The Plurals Party is giving an opportunity to new faces including educationists, doctors and other professionals. Its president, Pushpam Priya Chaudhary, filed her nomination from Bankipur. Former MP and president of Jan Adhikar Party, JAP, Pappu Yadav, has announced to contest from Madhepura. JAP-led Progressive Democratic Alliance, PDA, has declared him as their chief ministerial candidate. Meanwhile, the poll campaign has also intensified in poll-bound 71 assembly constituencies spread over 16 districts. More from our correspondent.
After a series of virtual rallies, JDU President and Chief Minister Nitish Kumar started his physical rallies. Addressing his first election meeting from Amarpur in Banka, Mr. Kumar said he is committed to development of Bihar. BJP election in charge and former Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis, addressed rallies in Madhubani. He said only NDA is able to address the problems of Bihar. The Chief Ministerial candidate of Grand Alliance and RJD leader, Tejasvi Prasad Yadav, said the unemployment in Bihar is a bigger issue. Today, the BJP star campaigner and party president JP Nadda will address election rallies in Aurangabad and Rohtas. Dharmendra Kumar Rai, AIR News, Patna.
The centre is closely monitoring the situation in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh in the wake of heavy rainfall. Home Minister Amit Shah has said that Union government is committed to provide all possible assistance to the people of both the states in this hour of need. He also said his thoughts and prayers are with those affected. The heavy rains that lashed Hyderabad and other parts of the state left a trail of destruction. The normal life has been thrown out of gear despite a little respite in heavy rains as the depression moved west-northwestwards from Hyderabad. Met officials informed that over 10 centimeters of rainfall recorded during the past 24 hours in Hyderabad and surrounding places. Local authorities informed that 6 more people died yesterday, taking the rain-related toll during the past 3 days to 18. More in this report.
Rescue operations continued throughout last night while Army, NDRF joined the local authorities of the Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation. Over 20,000 houses in different localities remained drowned. Hundreds of people took shelter at relief camps set up at 61 locations across the capital city. The authorities are focusing on rescue and relief operations as inflows continue into Musi River and other reservoirs in and around Hyderabad city. About 1.5 lakh people have been provided food by the civic authorities. Special medical camps have been set up at 30 locations for working round the clock. Meanwhile, the government has announced holiday today and asked people not to come out of their houses unless it is emergency. Met officials warned that rains are likely for 2 more days at several places in the state. Lakshmi, AIR News, Hyderabad.
The incessant rain created havoc in Andhra Pradesh. At least 6 districts in the state were hit by a severe cyclone in the western central Bay of Bengal. Nearly 371 villages were affected by the floods and about 1,470 kilometers of roads were damaged.
Department of Agriculture officials initially estimated that about 2 lakh acres had been damaged by heavy rains. 2 lakh acres of crops were damaged in Visakhapatnam, East Godavari, West Godavari, Krishna, Guntur and Kurnool districts. Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Y.S. Jagannath Reddy has held a high-level meeting and reviewed the situation. 10 people died in rain-related incidents in the state in the last 2 days. Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke to Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Y.S. Jagannath Reddy on Wednesday and assured them of all possible support and assistance from the Center in the rescue and relief work. Dr. G. Kondalrao, AIR News, Vijayawada.
The Indian Meteorological Department, IMD, has issued an orange alert. Thunderstorm accompanied by lightning, gusty winds and rains for Thane and Palghar districts, along with parts of coastal Maharashtra for today. For tomorrow, the entire North Konkan has been put on red alert, including Mumbai and Thane. There is a possibility of heavy to very heavy rain, thunder showers at isolated places in city and suburbs within the city and suburbs. This is All India Radio giving you the news.
News Services Division of All India Radio brings to you program Employment News in association with the Publications Division, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. An effective platform for information on job vacancies, training programs, admission notices, results and career advice with experts. Every day at 4:20 p.m. on FM Gold and other frequencies and on our YouTube channel AIR News Official. चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो खुद से वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
The 89th birth anniversary of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who served as the 11th President of India, is being celebrated today. In its tribute, Films Division will be streaming the 52-minute English documentary titled People's President on its website and YouTube channel. Meanwhile, the United Nations also celebrates Dr. Abdul Kalam's birth anniversary as World Students' Day. The theme of this year's celebrations is Learning for People, Planet, Prosperity and Peace. Born on the 15th of October 1931, Dr. Kalam was an aerospace scientist who served for nearly 4 decades in the DRDO and ISRO. Home Minister Amit Shah and Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar remembered Bharat Ratna recipient Dr. Kalam on his birth anniversary today. India has contributed $1 million to the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine refugees in the Near East. This aid will support the agency's programs and services, including education, healthcare, relief and social services. The representative office of India in Ramallah said India's support for the Palestinian cause is an integral part of the nation's foreign policy.
In Indian Premier League cricket, Delhi Capitals DC beat Rajasthan Royals RR by 13 runs at the Dubai International Stadium last night and climbed back to the top of the IPL points table. The winning team's fast bowler, pacer Andrish Nortje, who took 2 wickets for 33 runs, was named player of the match. He also bowled the fastest ball of the tournament history. Today, Royal Challengers Bangalore take on Kings 11 Punjab at Sharjah Cricket Stadium.
Now let us take a look at the weather update. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, minimum temperature was 16 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while maximum will be around 34 degrees. The city will have a mainly clear sky. In Srinagar, the sky will be mainly clear. Ladakh will have a mainly clear sky too. The minimum temperature was -2 degrees Celsius. Maximum will be around 21. Gilgit and Muzaffarabad will experience mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. In Muzaffarabad, the minimum temperature was 12 degrees, maximum will be around 30. Chandigarh will witness a mainly clear sky. The national capital, Delhi, will have fog in the morning and partly cloudy sky later. Mumbai will have generally cloudy sky with heavy rain. Minimum temperature was 25 degrees, maximum will be around 32. In Chennai, there will be generally cloudy sky. Kolkata will also have a partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm.
And now, an overview of today's newspapers. Unlock test today. Reboot begins for cinema, schools is a lead in the Hindustan Times. Centre poised to tackle COVID spike in winter. Process to import 1 lakh metric ton liquid oxygen started, notes the Pioneer. Lakhs face power disruption in NCR. Graded response action plan kicks in. No relaxation in ban on use of diesel gensets, writes the Times of India. Modi to begin NDA's poll drive in Bihar on October 22, reports the Pioneer. Army chief heads to Nepal amid moves to repair ties. The Indian Express focuses on the first high-level Indian visit to Nepal after the boundary dispute escalated this summer. And finally, tax relief for private company staff too for LTA spends on consumer goods along the lines of the latest scheme for central government employees. Mechanism being looked at and clarification will be issued shortly. The Economic Times quotes a government official.
And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Union Cabinet approves World Bank supported STARS project to boost school education system in the country. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 87.05%. Cinema halls, theatres and multiplexes to open today with 50% seating capacity. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari to initiate simultaneous blasting for Zojila Tunnel in Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. Anti-pollution measures under graded response action plan to come into force in Delhi NCR region. Centre to provide all assistance to rain-battered Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. And in IPL cricket, Royal Challengers Bangalore to take on Kings 11 Punjab in Sharjah this evening. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.